Think you're hard enough?
Africa, the Victoria Falls in Zambia. The world's strongest man? Me? A pool? I'll tell you what, Mariusz, I'll save you the bother.
One of the great wonders of the natural world welcomes 30 of the most extraordinary wonders of the human world. 4,500 kilos of beef assembled here at the Victoria Falls in Zambia in the heart of Africa in pursuit of the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man. The athletes are divided into 5 groups of 6, and the top 2 in each heat will make it through to the final. And they're all going to have to beat the defending champion, the powerful Pole, Mariusz Pudzianowski.
Jak trudno twym zdaniem będzie obronić twój tytuł?
Obronić Mistrzostwo Świata w tym roku będzie bardzo ciężko. Jest bardzo wysoki poziom. Zawodnicy postawili wysoką poprzeczkę, ale tak łatwo skóry nie sprzedam.
No jak? Czy podwijasz much Polski?
Excuse me?
What do you mean you didn't understand that?
My English, your Polish, this semi.
Yeah, the same.
And so, while I polish up my Polish, here are the 6 men in heat number 1. Well, Mariusz Pudzianowski begins the defence of his title here at the Royal Livingstone Hotel on the banks of the Zambezi with the Farmer's Walk.
Farmer's Walk!
And a man who's going to guide us through all the events this championship is a former world's strongest man himself in 1989, and that's Jamie Reeves. So tell us about this.
These anvils are 120 kilos. John, it's all about grip strength. These anvils are going to tear the skin from the hands. And to you and me, in simple terms, that's like carrying Mariusz in one hand and Igor in the other one.
Everybody keen to get a look at this first heat. I'll tell you one thing, though. I bet this guy didn't pay to get in. Commentary comes from Paul Dickinson.
And the waiting is over. The first competitor we're going to see, Adrian Rollinson from Dudley in the West Midlands, finished 5th in Britain's Strongest Man final. Next to him, Igor Pedan, a former bodybuilder, lives in Kiev. And finally, Jeff Dolan, who lives in the United States, but here he's representing Canada. As always, Dr. Douglas Edmonds in the background, wearing the black hat. He's in charge.
Ready.
2 massive weights have got to be carried down the course, and here they go. Already Dolan is off to a good start. Former javelin thrower, Adrian Rollinson going well on the far side, and Pedan, he's within half a metre of Rollinson. They're all in a line, in fact. 1 more length of this course to go. All turning in a line. That is Jeff Dolan, struggling just a little bit. Rollinson coming on strong, and Rollinson is looking good. Igor Pedan has dropped his anvils, and look at Rollinson go, but he's gone down as well. Jeff Dolan struggling just a wee bit. 5 metres to go. Oh, he's dropped it just before the line. And he finishes now, a time of 42.02. That is a good start for the Canadian. Rollinson, come on. And he's finished, or is he? No, he's put them down on the line. And Douglas Edmonds is saying to Rollinson, you're not finished yet. Now he is, just short of 60 seconds, and Igor Pidan has had enough.
Well, it's a tough way to wake up in the morning, that's for sure. But messed up my hand a little bit, but overall I'm happy.
Is that the kind of event you would expect to do well in?
Yeah, I've always said I like farmer's walk. I grew up on a farm, so I do farmer's walk like it's my job, so I like it.
I thought you were going to win that at one point.
Yeah, it slipped out, man. It's one of them things when they go, you can't do a lot about it, because you got a re-grip and then it starts to, your jaw comes off in there. But I'm happy with that. I'm always happy.
Well done to Adrian Rollinson. Now, next three competitors. The time to beat 42.02 by Jeff Dolan of Canada. And first of all, it's Holland's strongest man, Peter Baltus. Next to him, 6 feet 5 inches tall from the United States, Jesse Marundi. And then it's our defending World's Strongest Man champion, Mariusz Pudzianowski of Poland. Every inch an athlete.
Take your grip.
Still a lot of tension, a lot of nerves. And away we go. It's going to be very interesting to see how Pudzianowski nearest the camera gets on, but already Jesse Marundi has dropped his anvils and Pudzianowski is absolutely streaking away. He's actually renowned as a slow starter in the heat. And the strongmen, all they've got to do is put 1 foot over the line. And Pudzianowski, well, he did it, but he's down about 10 meters after that turn. And Peter Baltus is coming through on the far side. Pudzianowski's gone down again. The Dutchman comes through. He's going to win it by a mile. 33.03. Pudzianowski is just a fraction behind, just over 35 seconds. And it looks as though Jesse Marundi has given up. What a time by Peter Baltus.
That's a great start for you, though.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm very determined to get in the final this year, so first indication.
So 6 points to the man from Holland, ahead of the defending champion, and Adrian Rollinson starting with 3 in 4th place. A surprise defeat then for the world champion, but after an early exit last year, is the Dutchman the man to watch?
This next event is the squat. It's all about legs and back strength. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again. If you can't squat, you're not a strong man.
And this is squatting with a difference. Weight will be added to the apparatus each time the strongman completes one lift. And first up, it's Jeff Dolan. Had a good start to his very first World's Strongest Man competition, so the Canadian is going well.
Take the weight.
The knees heavily strapped for protection and support.
Stands out.
Squat.
245 kilos, and that was pretty useful.
Squat.
Bit of a jolt downwards when the weight is added. An extra 15 kilos there. So barrel number 2 goes on. And that looked easy for the Canadian, the former javelin thrower. A big javelin thrower, I have to say. Jamie Reeves signifies that was okay. Barrel number 4. And lift number 5. And Jeff Dolan is looking good, I have to say. Oh, this is a struggle for the Canadian, and he's finished. That is a good time, though, 25.01, but I think Jeff is in agony at the moment.
I had a couple targets, 5 fast or 6 for sure. I got one of those targets. Really hoping to get the 6th one there, but when that weight starts piling up on your back, you feel it.
Well, Jesse Marundi felt it from the word go, just 1 in 3.84. Well done to Rollinson, 5, but in a slower time than Dolan, 30.18. And he was beaten by Pidan, who lifted 5 in 29.04.
And now another attempt by Pudzianowski to impress everybody here. Well wrapped up in his super suit. It's very, very tight lycra. Knees well wrapped again, and that is a good start. 5 barrels in that cage at the start, 245 kilos. That is 260, and all of a sudden it's gone up to 280. And Mariusz is going well. He got off to a very good start in his first event. Now then, can he do one more? Yes, he can, just. He's having a look around. I'm not sure what's wrong with Mariusz at the moment. He's tied in terms of the weight with Dolan, but it's a slower time, and I think he's ripped his super suit. My goodness. So Mariusz in second place for the time being.
If it hadn't split, does he think he would have got the 6th barrel?
No jeszcze bym stał na pewno.
So finally, Peter Baltus, Holland's strongest man. Can he win this event and win his 2nd event in a row? He did tremendously well in the Farmer's Walk. 5 barrels required, and that means 6 lifts. This is the first barrel, the total weight all up, 573 pounds, going well at the moment. Now, Baltus gets that one, 618 pounds, 280 kilos. Wearing weightlifting shoes, the knee wraps, a tight lycra pair of shorts, the weightlifting belt as well. These guys just considering what would happen if they got injured. Well, he's tied in terms of the number of lifts so far. It's a little bit slower than Pudzianowski and Dolan, but this could be the lead. No, it's not. So just 5 squats for Peter Baltus. It's good in terms of the weight, but the time is slow.
Really tried for the 5th one because my time wasn't that fast. If I had the 5th one, I could have won, but too heavy.
So victory for the Canadian ahead of Pudzianowski, Pedan in 3rd, Rollinson 4th, and Baltus back in 5th, which means he's now 2 points off the pace, held jointly by Mariusz and Jeff.
So consistent stuff from the top 2, but Adrian Rollinson knows he needs a big score soon, or he's going to be cast adrift.
When in Zambia, you've got to ride an elephant.
An elephant weighs 5 tons. That's almost as much as you weigh, Adrian.
The Victoria Falls have been a crossroads for international travellers for well over 100 years. Once it was missionaries and tradesmen, now it's backpackers, tourist groups and strongmen, making the short trip from Zimbabwe to Zambia by train under their own steam.
This is a Zambian railway carriage. It weighs 15.5 tons. The destination is 16 metres that way towards the finish line.
I think the description of brute strength is just about right. And that is what applies to Adrian Rollinson, who looks really psyched up for this. And that carriage is the equivalent of 3 elephants, if you can believe that. 15.5 tons.
Are you ready?
Yes, he says. Away we go. You've got to stay low. And you've got to drive with the legs and pull with the arms. And towards the end of this, the legs will be absolutely burning. And what a beautiful sight over the Victoria Falls Bridge. I bet some of those spectators have never seen anything like this before. Here goes Rollinson. Let's not forget he finished 5th in Britain's Strongest Man, but this is a different class. He's very fit. He started to do a lot of swimming a couple of years ago, and that's really helped his fitness. He's got to stay low and drive the legs, pull with the arms. Keeping upwards now just over 35 seconds. Very close to the finish. The front of the train crosses the line, and that is 39.43.
How do you feel about being 100 metres up here?
Terrible. So I think it makes you pull it a bit quicker, actually. Yeah, it's a bit high. But while I'm in the middle, I'm all right.
I mean, how have you felt looking down and looking across?
Oh, I don't look down. I don't look down, it's too high.
Well, Peter Baltus looked down long and hard in 45.78 seconds. And for Igor Pedan, 48.00. All there or thereabouts.
Take your position.
And here goes the very muscular Mariusz Pudzianowski. He's equal first place at the moment with Jeff Dolan. And Pudzianowski, he's just over 20 stones in body weight, so that may well be a disadvantage, despite the fact he looks as though he's got a couple of coconuts bolted onto his arms there. His biceps and triceps absolutely massive, and this is a tremendous effort from Mariusz. He's steaming down there and going well. A couple of meters to go, and the time is very quick. This is magnificent by Pudzianowski. No wonder he was strongest man in the world. Last year, he dips under 30 seconds, 29.03. He didn't even realize he'd finished. That was brilliant, and he's hardly out of breath.
Everybody else has been struggling, but he found it very easy. Why was that?
To znaczy, to jest kwestia kondycji może i silnych nóg.
And what about the heat? Was it a problem?
No tutaj tak bardzo w ręce parzyło i pod spodem teraz nawet w nogi bardzo parzy.
Well, here goes Jeff Dolan. And for his very first appearance in World's Strongest Man, this youngster is doing extremely well. Look at that, he's almost parallel to the ground. A big pull with the arms and a push with the legs to get it started. The calves are very important in this event, and that is why he's got those heavily strapped. Oh, what a time Mariusz has set for the lead. And of course Adrian Rollinson will be looking at this carefully. 39.43 was Adrian's time. And Jeff Dolan is certainly moving a little slower than Pudzianowski. Coming up to Pudzianowski's time, and it's gone. So the Pole is still in the lead. There is the finish line. 15.5 tons, just creeps over the line there. It's not a bad time. 38.93 for Dolan. So it looks as though the Canadian's in the good points again.
I just couldn't find the right technique. I was taking too big of steps and having my leg too bent, and I couldn't get along. I was having too long of a pull, and it was very slow.
But second place, good points,
yep.
And it means you're in a good position to qualify at the moment.
Yeah, as surprising as that sounds. I'm not doing particularly up to my standards, but there's luck involved in this sport, I guess.
So the pole in a class of his own, so tight for the minor placings, Dolan beating Rollinson for second place. Here's how things stand at the halfway stage. Jesse Murundi forced to pull out with injury.
So the pole on pole, and things looking grim now for the man from Wolverhampton.
Understood.
Big change this time. No glow or tacky allowed, which means the athletes have got to squeeze the stones even harder. That's all arm power. And in the world of strength, nobody wants to be remembered as a two-stone man.
Well, the stones are the same as we've seen in the past, but those drums, the layout is a little bit different from the tallest to the smallest. For our first two competitors, Adrian Rollinson and Peter Baltus. But Igor Pedan of the Ukraine has already gone. He competed on his own, 25.88 for 4 stones. Away we go. And Adrian Rollinson really needs to get a move on here. Peter Baltus going well. And Rollinson, well, he's at least 1 complete stone behind. And if Rollinson's got any chance of making it through to the final, he's got to make a real impression in these last 3 events in our first heat. Peter Baltus is absolutely flying. That was just over 18 seconds for the first 4 stones for Holland's strongest man. And Baltus just taking a little pause here. Rollinson, he's having trouble with number 4. 140 kilos, 309 pounds. This one that Baltus is trying is 20 kilos heavier. There's not many men in the world could lift this final stone. One of the biggest difficulties is just getting your arms around it. It's absolutely enormous. And Adrian Rollinson has got number 4. Good stuff. But his time, of course, is very much slower than Peter Baltus. Now then, 15 seconds to go on the time limit of 75 seconds. And Peter Baltus says he's had enough, but that was so quick. 18.96 for Baltus for 4 stones. That will take a bit of beating.
Peter, that was a fantastic time for the first 4. Was that your aim?
Basically, first 4 very fast. I hope to do 5, of course. But 50 just was too heavy.
And Aid, you were coming up on the rails there. Did you think you might get him at the end with the 5th one?
Yeah, but this liquid chalk I've got on, it's a little bit slippy and you can't grab the stones with it, so little mistake. Never mind.
Well, poor old Rollinson is down in last place at the moment as we come to our final 2 competitors. Jeff Dolan on the far side and Mariusz nearest the camera. And away we go. Oh, And both men hoisted that 100-kilogram stone up so quickly, and look at Pudzianowski. He's absolutely flying, and of course chasing that time of Peter Baltus, 18.96 for 4 stones. If he can get that, he won't have to bother with number 5. He'll have won the event. Dolan's just a little bit behind, but the Canadian is going well. And Pudzianowski, well, he is behind at the moment. An unofficial time is over 19 seconds for stone number 4. So if he's going to win this event, he needs this 5th and final stone, and it's close. That is the closest we've had so far. He's got immensely strong arms and legs, and he can't quite manage it. He's just a tad over 6 feet tall, and that, I fear, may be just a little bit on the short side. Dolan, I don't think he's going to manage this last stone, is he? He's going to give it a shot. My goodness, coming up to a minute now. So as well as immense strength, there's a bit of endurance involved here as well. And Mariusz is giving it one more go. Both of them say that is it. And Pudzianowski is going to finish in 2nd place. A good victory for Peter Baltus.
And Peter Baltus has now caught up 2 more points on you, so it's getting very close, isn't it?
Yeah, he is an amazing stone lifter there. That 4th one looked like it was as light as the 1st one for him.
But it's going to be tight, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Still 2 events left. I'm healthy, no injuries, so I'm ready to fight.
And so they all managed to lift 4 stones. The trouble was for Adrian Rollinson, everybody else did it rather quicker than he did. And here's how the scoreboard looks with just 2 events to go.
The defending champion, supremely consistent, and it's now a 2-horse race to see who's going to join him in the final.
To prepare for strongman, there's a lot of things you got to do. A lot of running and dynamic exercises, plyometrics, Olympic lifting, stuff like that. A lot of these events are timed, so you have to be quick. Preparation is very key. If you're not prepared to lift these big, heavy weights, you're going to find yourself injured in a hurry. So it starts a long ways back, starting in the early parts of the year with your conditioning and base training. Mentally, I've been 100% positive and just replaying things in your mind. And if your mind is on the right track, your body will usually follow.
Log lift.
First log, same weight as Jeff. 2nd one, same as Mariusz. 3rd one, Peter, and the last one, same as Aid. This is going to be a tough task.
Well, time is certainly a feature here. The 4 logs are laid out on the course and ready for our first competitor, Mariusz Pudzianowski of Poland. What a great moment it was last year for Polish strongmen when Mariusz became the world's strongest man. And it certainly looks as though he's on his way to the final here. Little roll up the chest. Gets his balance. That is good. That's 125 kilos. It's not like a normal weightlifting bar. The grip is different. And of course, well, you can't see his head. The weight takes on a different characteristic when it's built like a log and not a weightlifting bar. That is 3. So Mariusz going well. 27.46 seconds it was for his 3rd lift. And this one is a massive 155 kilos. Now then, I've been reading in his training schedule that he often does repetitions with 140 in the gymnasium. This looks as though it is his limit, though, so Mariusz's time for 3 is 27.46.
Adrian Rollinson managed to lift 2 in 15.69, and he was then followed by Igor Padan, and he managed 3 in 28.09.
One of the wonders of the natural world. What a beautiful setting we've got for this event, and it's Jeff Dolan now chasing the lead of Mariusz. 3 lifts in 27.46 or faster. And poor old Adrian Rollinson is finding this very torrid indeed. And that is good lifting by the Canadian. The Saskatchewan javelin record holder. Can you believe it? That was a few years ago. And this is looking good. Oh, he just lost his balance there. That was almost like a clean and jerk, and it is slightly faster, 27.09. So he's gone into the lead, and that will do his chances of making it through to the final. Very good indeed. Still 1 event to go, though. Just taking his time on this last one. Nobody's lifted it yet. 341 pounds. Now he's got to try and jerk it up again this time, and he's down. So nobody has lifted that final log, and I don't think Dolan is going to either.
Never make the mistake of counting my chickens before they're hatched, especially when I'm going to someone as big and strong and as athletic as Peter Baltus. But the more points I can put between me and him, the better I feel.
Well, this is a very important event for Peter Baltus. He's got to win here and then do well in the final event, the tyre flip, to make it through to the final. It's been a great contest so far. Number one is put away. 125 kilos this log weighs. Look at the size of his arms. That was a bit unsteady, though. Now, what about the time? The leading time so far, 27:09. It's going to be close, and I think he might be just outside. That, in fact, is 29:06, so he's only in third place at the moment. This is a must-do, and Peter Baltus knows it. I'm sure he's tried to lift this sort of weight in training in the past, but can he be successful on the banks of Victoria Falls and the Zambezi? The mighty Zambezi, but can he become a mighty Dutchman? No, he can't. And I don't think Peter Baltus will make it through to the final after that.
So that fourth log was just too much for everybody. Jeff Dolan winning the log lift. And what it means is after 5 events, this particular heat is done and dusted.
So Poland and Canada were the first men through to the final. As for Adrian Rollinson, just not consistent enough. The man from the Midlands will have to wait until next year.
Doesn't take an expert to work this one out.
But even though this heat is over, pride still very much at stake.
So here we go with our final event in Heat 1. Dolan nearest the camera, Pudzianowski, Baltus, Rollinson and Igor Pidan, and Pudzianowski really is beginning to look the sort of dominant character he was in the final last year. And that is Adrian Rollinson, trying to salvage something out of this competition. He always gives it everything, does Rollinson. He's coming up into about second or third place. But Mariusz is absolutely flying here. One more flip should do it. And Mariusz wins yet again. He doesn't actually have to do that other flip. It's just got to touch the line. That was great. And look at that. Peter Baltus finishes in second, Jeff Dolan third, Rollinson fourth and Pidan fifth. But both Pudzianowski and Jeff Dolan are on their way to the final.
I presume you've seen this program on television over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And now here you are mixing it with the big boys. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's very hard to, you know, just not want to go get his autograph because he's the champion, but you have to be, you know, get your head in the game and put that out of it and just be happy that you're here and do well, show that you belong.
Well, Pudzianowski emphatically belongs at the top of the tree, winning the tyre flip very convincingly ahead of Baltus and Dolan. And there's the final scoreboard. Baltus could be a man to watch next year.
A bit of a surprise, Jeff making it through. I suppose the main question, though, is Mariusz the force that he was?
I don't think so. I don't think he's dominated the heats in the way he did last year. And as for Jeff, he's a newcomer, so I think it's just going to be a learning curve.
And so here are the first 2 finalists for this year's Metrex Trophy.
Welcome to our special Christmas edition of Strongman Academy of Idols. And Mariusz, I think you're going to give us a Polish Christmas song. What's it called?
Wśród nocnej ciszy.
I like that one, okay.
Wśród nocnej ciszy Bóg się wam rodzi. Wstańcie, pasterze, Bóg się wam rodzi. Czym prędzej się wybierajcie do Betlejem, pospieszajcie przywitać Pana.
The heats in the way he did last year. And as for Jeff, he's a newcomer, so I think it's just going to be a learning curve.
And so here are the first 2 finalists for this year's Metrex trophy.
Well, welcome to our special Christmas edition of Strongman Academy of Idols. And Mariusz, I think you're going to give us a Polish Christmas song. What's it called?
Wśród nocnej ciszy.
I like that one, okay.
Wśród nocnej ciszy Bóg się wam rodzi. Wstańcie, pasterze, Bóg się wam rodzi. Czym prędzej się wybierajcie do Betlejem, pospieszajcie przywitać Pana.
No lying around when these guys are in town, or Elsa. Welcome to Zambia in the heart of Africa, and welcome to Livingstone, named after Dr. Livingstone, I presume. Every day here is market day. You can buy absolutely anything. One thing you can't buy, though, is the Metrex trophy for the world's strongest man.
In the first heat, the two qualifiers for the final were defending champion Mariusz Pudzianowski and Jeff Dolan of Canada. Who's going to join them from Heat 2?
This giant tyre tells you that Heat 2 begins here at the Royal Livingstone Hotel with the carry and flip.
Carry and flip.
Now, throughout this year's competition, our guide to each individual event is going to be a former world's strongest man, and that's Jamie Reeves. So tell us about this.
There's a 225 kilogram weight got to be carried 15 metres, which is like carrying a male lion. And if you survive that, then there's this tyre, which is 400 kilograms, which is the equivalent to a zebra, which has got to be flipped towards that finish line.
So you need a tiger in your tank.
That's the trouble with Africa. There are just too many animals around. And here's Paul Dickinson.
And our first competitor, an old favourite, Heinz Olesch from Germany, a former finalist in World's Strongest Man. And he's next to René Mingqvist of Denmark, the former powerlifting champion. This really is a test for our first event. The weight, 225 kilos. That is absolutely massive. And look at Mingqvist get away. He's waddling down the course, but much, much faster than this man, Heinz Olesch. And Mingqvist is absolutely flying. Now this tyre weighs in at 400 kilos. And like the tyres last year, the heaviest we've ever used in World's Strongest Man. And it looks as though Mingqvist is going to set the target. Another flip required, and Heinz Olesch is actually catching. A good effort from the German. Very, very experienced in all sorts of strongman competitions. Heading towards 40 seconds. Mingqvist just managing to stay ahead of Heinz Olesch, and he's done it. 43.33, and Olesch surely is going to finish, but some way behind. And so this first event out of the way for René Mingqvist, and he has set the target for everybody else, including, of course, Great Britain's Eddie Elwood, who goes next.
That time is not good. I hope so, but I don't think so.
And here is Eddie Elwood, former Mr. Universe in bodybuilding from County Durham. And he's next to the massive figure of Don Pope from the USA, a former semi-professional American footballer. Well, this is a real test for Eddie Elwood on the far side. And away we go. How will he cope with 225 kilos? That is Don Pope. Neck and neck with our own Eddie Elwood. And the target, of course, has been set by Rennie Minkfitz, 43.33, but Elwood is away. Getting more experienced in strongman competitions since he won Mr. Universe 5 times in a fantastic bodybuilding career. And Don Pope looks as though he's catching him just a little bit. All of the men in this heat weigh over 22 stone. We're dealing with a lot of beef out there, that's for sure. Now, come on, Eddie, you've got a big target to beat here. 43.33 is the target, and that has gone. So Rennie Minkfitz is still in the lead. But can Elwood get this one over? Pope is catching him, and Pope has gone ahead of Eddie Elwood. Pope's time, 49.14. Eddie Elwood, 50.97.
I am in a tough group with a lot of great champions, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because then I know firsthand, how fast they are, how strong they are when they're one lane next to me, So instead of just watching and hearing about it,
How painful was that arm?
They pulled on the second flip, I think. I don't know what's going to. We'll have to get a check now, I think.
Well, that's certainly bad news for Eddie Elwood, but this is Žydrūnas Savickas of Lithuania, another massive guy. Next to one of the all-time greats, Magnús Samuelsson, world's strongest man in 1998 from Sweden.
Take your grip.
So can either of these two guys get close to the lead? 43.33. Samuelsson and Savickas are away. And Savickas is going into the lead. That is a very good performance by the Lithuanian. He weighs in at a massive 150 kilos. Samuelsson, well, he's 150 kilos as well. These two guys are both over 6 feet 5 inches tall, and Savickas is streaking away at the moment. Samuelsson, he's been in every final since I can remember, certainly over the last 6 years, and Savickas has done brilliantly. 31.53, Samuelsson 35.15, first and second place, absolutely superb.
You are happy with that?
Yeah, first event is very important. Before first event, I'm very nervous, and when I won it, I feel better for next event.
Does the beard make you stronger?
You see, I'm just trying it out, and it haven't really worked all that great today, but I have great hopes for tomorrow.
And how confident are you of getting to the final again?
If I tell you the truth, you will think I'm very big-headed, so I'm going to keep that answer to myself.
So yes?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure I will make it.
Great, okay, thanks.
So if Samuelsson's that confident, what does that make Savickas? What an impressive performance from the man from Lithuania. Well, this looks like being a really tough heat, and Eddie Elwood's going to have his work cut out if he's going to qualify.
When it's warm like this, I like a beer, maybe even a barrel, but hey, not 11.
Well, I've actually seen Jamie have a drink. I reckon he could polish off that lot, no problem at all. And it's the turn of Eddie Elwood in this squat lift. After each squat, weight will be lifted onto that platform. And we're starting off with a weight of 245 kilos, 540 pounds. So the former bodybuilder gets us underway. The first barrel is added. That's an extra 15 kilos. This one is an extra 20. And as Jamie Reeves has said in the past, if you're not a good squatter, you are not a real strongman. And so far, so good for Eddie Elwood. This is squat number 5, a little bit tougher. Jamie Reeves, the judge on this as well, and he designed the equipment. And Elwood goes down. That is it for Eddie Elwood. 5 lifts altogether, 24.36 for our former bodybuilding champion.
Is that okay or disappointing or what?
Just okay, I think. Just okay.
Do you think the other guys will do more?
Yeah. I've got a good group.
But not that good. Don Pope, 3 in 16.99. Heinz Olesch also struggling a bit. He managed 4 in 23.19. And this is never Magnus Samuelsson's best event, and he managed 4 in 20.4 dead.
So it's still Eddie Elwood in the lead, and that is good news for Great Britain. But René Minkvits is renowned as a very good squatter. Let's see how he gets on with the first lift. That was very easy indeed. It must jar the athlete when those barrels are added, and this looks incredibly simple for Minkvits. He is a former powerlifting champion, so this is meat and potatoes for René Minkvits at the moment. And this is very fast. He's gone into the lead already. That is 5 in a very quick time. So Eddie Elwood is down to second place, and that is the first time we've seen anybody complete 6 lifts. Can he get 7? Yes, he can. Absolutely superb. 33.03, 7 lifts, and that is going to be very, very hard to beat.
So a lot of the guys, the strong ones, really struggling with that. And it felt so easy. So easy. Oh.
Is that one of the great moments of your strongman career?
I will never forget that. Never. Never, never, ever. I feel like the king. Ooh. Great.
But how long can he stay king for? This is Savickas, the Lithuanian, who won our first event. I saw him a couple of years ago. He's put on weight, and it's muscular weight as well. Oh, he's done 2 before the first barrel was in. It's still simple now. Just hold on, son. Calm down. That is his 3rd lift with 2 barrels. He's got into a rhythm now, looking good and fast as well. Because if he does 7, it's all going to be on the stopwatch. Going for number 6, a bit of a bounce, but it doesn't matter. This is the final one. Just over 30 seconds. Absolutely fabulous. We've got a new leader. And that looks as though Savickas can win 2 events in a row. That was superb.
Too easy.
Yeah, it was my best event.
And you were faster than anybody all day, fastest time.
Yeah, and 1 rep more.
Was there ever an individual strongman event quite like that? Savickas and Minkvits, absolutely awesome. And that's how things stand after 2 events. Pretty tight in the middle. With Heinz Olesch out injured, we're down to just 5 now, but Eddie Elwood's going to need a superhuman effort to make it to the final.
When in Zambia, you must visit a local market.
And be prepared to be amazed.
These guys drive a hard bargain.
And isn't this, quite simply, a view you could never tire of?
My name is Cliff.
On his summer holiday, and you have to wonder what David Livingstone must have made of the Victoria Falls when he got here in the 1850s.
3, 2, 1, bungee!
And what would Livingstone have made of that? The biggest bungee jump in the world, 111 meters. It's easier pulling a train.
Train pull!
Things are heating up nicely. It's 42 degrees now. Would you want to pull a train in this heat? I wouldn't.
The Victoria Falls Bridge, one of the most spectacular settings we've ever had in strongman. And Don Pope is the first to go. The American is actually in last place at the moment because of the withdrawal of Heinz Olesch.
You tell me.
15.5 tons. Away we go, and look at this. Don Pope staying very low indeed. He's used to that, of course, being an American footballer, being a linebacker. Driving forward now with his legs, pulling with his arms on those steel rungs, and getting up quite a pace as well. The front of the train has to cross the white line, which Pope will go past in a moment. There it is. This is not about time by Pope. Knocking on towards 30 seconds now. It's getting close. Don Pope, the American, driving hard. 31.25. Not a bad effort indeed, but this guy really does need big points here. And that was tough, especially on the hands.
So what's it like actually when you're crawling along like a monkey almost?
I like it. I don't like the rope because I always lose it. You know, this was kind of like a bear crawl. You know, when I played football, we used to, you know, bear crawl, miles, especially if we did a bad play or a bad game. Coach would make us bear crawl forever, so that came very natural.
They're obviously not big on bear crawling in the northeast. 36.65 for Eddie Elwood, nor indeed in Lithuania. Savickas' time 43.78.
Well, I wonder if this is where we see the former world's strongest man, Magnús Samuelsson, come into his own. He didn't enjoy the squat.
Are you ready?
I think he's going to enjoy this a little bit better, if enjoyment is the right word. And he's really got to hit those rails hard now and get a move on. Don Pope, the American, of course, is still in the lead. It's 31.25. And Samuelsson is driving now. A little bit higher than Pope was. We heard from the American just how important it was to stay low. As always, Samuelsson's wife in the background screaming and shouting for him to get a move on. But there's 15.5 tons on his back. This is hard, and Samuelsson's struggling just a little bit. He's in second place, outside of the time by Don Pope. That is 32.50. Second place for Sweden.
How hot were those sleepers to pull your hands along?
At the moment, I have so much problems on my back, so I don't really worry so much about a few degrees more or less on the bar to hold on to. I'm just pulling for dear life.
René Minkvist. Now then, René Minkvist of Denmark looks totally psyched up, totally committed now. Just done a quick calculation. 15.5 tons. It's a herd of zebras, over 30 of them. Now then, Minkvist looking for something just outside 30 seconds to try and challenge Don Pope and Magnús Samuelsson. He's a little bit slow at the moment. His hips are rising too high, I think. He's got to get further down, almost horizontal, but now he's got a rhythm. Over 22 seconds. Still moving well, still driving the legs, still pulling with the arms, and this is bad news for Eddie Elwood. Elwood's time 36.65. If he can get inside that, Elwood will drop down another place, and he's done it. 35.65. We've still got a winner in Don Pope, but this guy's looking at his hands. I hope they're all right. Oh my goodness, that was hard.
And it was hot. The rails on those sleepers were measured at 50 degrees centigrade. Victory for Pope in that particular event, and goodness me, it's tight at the halfway point in this heat. Well, the man from Lithuania came so close last year. He's clearly the man to beat in this heat, and he might be in the competition as a whole.
If I go out for fast food, I like to go large. Well, today on this farmer's walk, these guys have gone mega.
We certainly have. The town of Livingstone, named after the great explorer, are about to see the heaviest weights ever lifted in a farmer's walk. And Magnús Samuelsson and the rest have got to take them down the 25-meter course as fast as they possibly can. Well, this guy is renowned as having a fantastic grip. Here we go. Look at the strain in his arms and shoulders. 155 kilos in each hand. That is absolutely phenomenal. A combined weight of nearly 700 pounds, and it's quick. Oh, my goodness. The giant farmer from Sweden has just completed a remarkable time, 12.96 in the giant farmer's walk. That is going to be very hard to beat indeed.
It's like the old days.
Yeah, the power is still there. it's just harder and harder to get the right spirit to come up. I must say, I've been here in Zambia 2 years ago, and it's a very nice place to compete. It's a bit warm though for the Viking, but still nice people, and the food is great, so that's all it takes to keep me happy.
Well, the American Don Pope was less than happy with a time of 20.75, and he must have been feeling even more cheesed off when Eddie Elwood beat it 20.01.
Well, Magnus Samuelsson will still be very happy. He's still in the lead, and René Minkvits here was equal on points with the Swede after the last event, but I just wonder how much that train pull has taken out of him. He was having problems with his hands after that event, and he's struggling here already. So Samuelsson will be absolutely delighted. The Dane is not so great at the moment, and he's looking at that right hand, desperately concerned. I just wonder if he's going to be able to carry on at all. And this could be a real problem in terms of his aspirations of making it through to the final. He's going to finish in last place, and that is a desperate state of affairs.
It's just slide out of my hand. I can't hold anything with that.
How painful was it?
It was painful, but when you're doing things like that, you don't think about pain. So I just did what I could, and that's what I have now.
And bitterly disappointing.
A bit, yes. But it's not over yet.
I think that's an understatement. Minkvits is not just a bit upset, he's desperately upset about that. This is our final competitor, Žydrūnas Savickas, the overall leader after 3 events. And Samuelsson is still in the box seat. Savickas steaming down this runway at the moment. And this is going to be very quick indeed. Look at the strain in his arms and shoulders. That is fantastic. 12.78. Job done. Away he goes.
I love this event. Farmer's walk for big weight. And I can go fast. 25 meters, it's very good distance, and I won it.
It's Savickas, the man who put the strong in strongman. What a huge performance there from the man from Lithuania. Eddie Elwood's arm injury proving too much for him, and it means Savickas through to the final. And that sadly was enough for Eddie Elwood, the bicep injury proving too much to overcome. So the question now, will it be Samuelsson or Minkvits who makes it through?
In strongman, you need a lot of specialist equipment just for the extra support, otherwise you're going to end up tearing muscle, and the injuries can be quite severe. Belts to support your hips and your lower back area. We wear wrist straps, a little bit of extra support to stop you straining the wrists. Then you have knee wraps, same again for the elbows. Super soups, these are really, really heavy and hard to get into. They just act like an extra spring. Chalk, it's for grip. In this heat we get very, very sweaty palms. Gloves is basically used on a larger piece of equipment. You need to protect yourself from that sun, otherwise you'll end up weakened, sunburned, in agony in bed at night.
It's normally the grand finale, but not this time. The Atlas Stones have moved up the batting order and the wall's gone. We've got a brand new format.
Instead, we've got these 5 African drums. The stones remain the same. The only thing is the athletes can't wear any glue. So this is all about arm power.
And the highest drum, that's for the lightest stone. The lowest drum, of course, for the heaviest, and that is a massive 160 kilos. Savickas is going well, no doubt about it. Dave Pope languishing in 4th and final place at the moment with the withdrawal of Elwood and Olesh. So both these guys need something special, and Savickas popped that one on top, almost like dunking a basketball. He really is a very powerful guy indeed, but that was a mistake, and Pope has just moved into the lead. So a little bit of luck there for the American. He's done pretty well though in his very first attempt at World's Strongest Man competition, but now Savickas coming back into it. Stone number 4, and now for the big one, 160 kilos, 353 pounds. And he's deciding there that looking at it might help. I'm not sure it will. Meanwhile, Pope gets number 4 up. And this 5th stone, well, it's been a problem to all of our strongmen so far this year. Nobody's managed to lift it yet, and Savickas looks exhausted. Stone number 5 looks almost impossible, but Don Pope is having another go. Come on, he can't even get it off the deck. Now, will either of them have a go again? Pope walks off, followed by Savickas, but the Lithuanian is in the lead for the moment. I just wonder what sort of state the Danes' hands are in. We'll have to wait and see. Magnús Samuelsson is a former world record holder for the Atlas Stones. That was in the old format, though, when they had to put them up on the wall. So how can he do with our new layout?
Get ready.
Both guys have still got a chance of making it through to the final, though. Samuelsson is away, and Minkvits is all over the shot. My goodness. Samuelsson has got the second stone up. Minkvits taking it slow and steady. And this is real class by Sweden's Magnús Samuelsson. He's not one of the all-time greats for nothing. And I just wonder whether this will be his first win in this year's heats. And can he do number 5? Yes, he can, with great ease. And his time of 26.15 was absolutely fantastic. Minkvits still going, still looking at the right hand, and I think he's had enough. But really, there was only one guy in it that time. Magnús Samuelsson, totally unbeatable in the Atlas Stones.
And everybody else has been struggling so much on the 5th one.
Yeah,
but for you, it's still pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this is the first time we do this event without tacking. So it's a lot harder than normal, but what it gives up on most guys is that the arm opens as they try to lift the stone from the floor, and arms is probably my strongest muscle groups. So this is a good event for me.
Samuelsson reliving the glory days of the 90s as he wins the Atlas Stones emphatically ahead of Savickas. Minkvits back in 4th, which means that this heat is over with one event still to go.
So 2 big men, Savickas and Samuelsson, through to the final. The hard luck story belonged to Minkvits. He tore his hand so badly in the train pull, he was never the same after that.
Tyre flip. It does what it says on the tin.
And it's time either to conserve energy or go out with a bang.
So here we go with the last event. Samuelsson nearest the camera, then Savickas, then Minkvits, who is here. He might not be the same, but he wants to give this his best shot, and he's into an early lead. Samuelsson, of course, already through to the final. I don't think he's bothered the big Swede. He's just keeping an eye on Savickas there. And those 2 are through to the final. Samuelsson, of course, once again, but it's all about René Minkvits. So unlucky after the train pull to damage his hand very badly, and I think he's going to finish off with a flourish. And Don Pope is there as well, and it's all down to René Minkvits, who's up on the tyre, taking the applause of a great crowd here. Savickas, well, he's not bothered about finishing either. Pope's finished off well, and look at this guy. A celebration dance, but desperately disappointed not to make it through to the final, like Samuelsson and Savickas have done.
Last year you were 2nd. How do you feel about your prospects for the final this time?
This year, I'm stronger, and I hope I'll be better. And I will try win this year.
So watch out, world. A brave parting shot from René Minkvits, but he knew that he couldn't qualify going into that final event. And here's the final result of Heat 2.
It's 6 years since Magnus was champion. Can he do it again, do you think, or is Savickas the sort of champion in waiting?
I think Magnus is finding good form again. Whether he can produce it in the final, that's another thing. As for Savickas, I think he was holding back a little bit in that heat, and the only time he really let rip was in the squat.
So the 4 finalists so far for the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man from Poland, Canada, Lithuania and Sweden.
So welcome to the Christmas edition of Strongman Idol Academy. And Magnus, what are you going to sing?
I will try to give you Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Take it away.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. If you ever saw it, you would even think it glows. Rudolph med röda mulen kan jag inte texten till. Och nu kommer jag bara improvisera, så nu hoppas jag att skiten tar slut.
if you think he's big. In the wilderness of Zambia, you'll see thousands of these, the baobab tree. The tree they say that God planted upside down because it looks as though the roots are on the top. And it's here in the heart of Africa that the Metrex trophy for the world's strongest man will be won. There are 6 athletes in 5 heats and the top 2 go through to the final. So far, Poland, Canada, Lithuania and Sweden will have representatives in that final. Who's going to join them? And the man who's going to guide us through all the events this time around is a former world champion himself, and that's Jamie Rees. Now, how tough is this?
It's extremely tough. After 60 metres, the guys are going to feel like their arms are being pulled out of the sockets. Each anvil is around 19 stones in weight, so it's like carrying these 2 lovely ladies on one hand and these 2 on the other.
And before we join Paul Dickinson, time for our regular game, Spot the Monkey.
Jörgen Ljungberg, former European champion at powerlifting from Sweden. And then Carl Broomfield from Stoke-on-Trent, a late addition to this field. Just wonder how he'll get on in his very first World's Strongest Man. And then Jonna Hams, very well known on the Dutch circuit of strongman competition, and really psyched up for this event. 120 kilos in each hand, in the fastest possible time, over 70 metres. Dr. Douglas Edmonds gets them underway. Oh, and look at that, already Ljungberg has gone down and Broomfield is coming through. That's Jonna Hams. And Broomfield's going well. I have to say, this is a brilliant start from the Briton. He finished 9th in Britain's Strongest Man last year. A slow turn, though. You've only got to get 1 foot over the line, and Carl walked all over the line and then back again, but Hams has gone down. And Broomfield has been left on his own, and he's going to come home surely to win some good points in his very first competition in World's Strongest Man. Well done to Carl Broomfield. Absolutely superb, and the rest were just left stranded. That's Jonna Hams, and he's only 10 metres or so down the course. There is a time limit, of course, 75 seconds, so inside that, but I think he's had enough. He certainly has. The Dutchman is finished, and so is Ljungberg. Good win for Broomfield.
I've been practicing so hard for the last 6 weeks, so going well there.
What expectations, realistically, do you have in this heat?
Win. Yeah, good event for me. Hopefully, well, first or second to Lumi. This event, that's my battle plan. First or second, and I'll be on course.
So 39.15 the time to beat. Jarek Dymek, the first we see, training partner, of course, of Mariusz Pudzianowski, the giant Phil Pfister of the United States, 6 feet 6 inches tall. And the ever-friendly Raimons Bergmanis from Latvia, 3rd in the final last year, a veteran of this sort of competition. What a good start, though, for Carl Broomfield. Excellent stuff, and away we go. Dymek on the far side, lagging behind just a little bit. It's the veteran Bergmanis and Phil Pfister right in the centre. A couple of metres behind Bergmanis. Now, can they hang on to these 264-pound anvils almost turning at the same time. Dymek is definitely in third place, but who's going to get this one? Absolutely fabulous, and the time is very fast as well. Pfister on the far side coming through, but there goes Bergmanis. Pfister just falters at the end. Bergmanis wins it. Pfister just gets second place ahead of Dymek. And that was a fabulous time by Bergmanis, 28.5, the fastest we've seen this year.
Perfect start.
Oh, yeah, a little bit nervous, but yesterday when I was on river safari, a good, impressive and Zambia spirit in my body.
Raymond's was amazing, fantastic race.
Did you expect to win that?
I was certainly hoping to. Farmers Walk is, of course, one of my best events, kind of a signature event for me. But you never know what to expect from a lot of these guys. They're such phenomenal athletes and always improving. It's just really amazing.
So an encouraging start for Karl Broomfield, but dancing in the streets of Riga as the Latvian makes an emphatic start to this heat. And so a good start there for the veteran Bergmanis, third in Kuala Lumpur last year and determined to go at least one better this time around.
Train pull!
This is the train pull. It's 15.5 tons, 16 metres. This is about grip power, arm strength and leg strength.
And the beautiful Victoria Falls Bridge, once again the setting for this dramatic train pull. Raymond Bergmanis, who won the first event, the first strongman we're going to see. Well, we've had the weight equivalent as 3 elephants, 30 zebras. Now I reckon it's about 4 hippos worth. So here we go, Bergmanis, great competitor, wobbling just a little bit. And this guy has competed in 3 Olympic Games in weightlifting. He carried Latvia's flag in Sydney at the opening ceremony. He's a very proud man, just going a bit off course there. But once again, Bergmanis is setting a good standard. He's just faltering a little bit. What he lacks in stamina, he does make up with fantastic strength. 30.53, that is the time that everybody else has to beat.
Jarno Hams didn't manage it, 44.56 the time for the Dutchman. He was then followed by Jørgen Lundberg, 33.69 for the Swede, and then the giant American Phil Pfister, his time 33.06.
Well, what a start it was for Karl Broomfield.
Are you ready?
Now then, what can he do with this train pull? He's a little bit lighter than some of the other competitors. And as I was saying at the beginning of the first event, he was a late starter or a late entrant in this heat. So he hasn't had that much time to practice, but Broomfield is going well. 30.53 seconds, the time to beat. And it's still Bergmanis in the lead, so Broomfield now is beginning to pick up pace. This is looking better. He's rising a little bit high at the moment, but that is good. He's in the lead, my goodness. 29.46.
I've been training hard, pulling 2 jeeps with my good friend Tommy the Tank back at home. And he said if I don't do a good time, he's going to jump in a boat and come over here and kick me off. So I had to put in a good effort there.
Well, I don't think he's going to have to get in the boat just yet. Karl Broomfield's done very well, but this is Dymek, last competitor. Low position, almost horizontal to the ground. Tremendously strong arms and legs, that goes without saying. Look at the size of his arms and shoulders there, my goodness. He's about twice as wide as normal people, I can tell you, and he is literally going like a train now. His grip's not too good with his feet at the moment. He's stepping in between those rungs, not pushing against them, but this is fast. Absolutely fabulous. He's going to win it by a mile. He's blown Karl Broomfield's time apart. He's beaten it by over 3 seconds, 26.15.
Well, that was a hugely impressive performance all round from all 6 athletes, but what it meant after 2 events was that Bergmanis and Dymek level at the top, but look out for the Brit.
Well, that really was an outstanding performance by Karl Broomfield, and the man from Stoke is right back in contention now, a third of the way through.
When in Zambia, take a river safari.
We even might see some hippos that just look as pretty as Raymond's. Norway. So a lot of hippos, a lot of birds, a lot of other animals.
Yeah, but you see it a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh, thanks.
About the only thing more common in Zambia than a Zambian is a zebra. There are millions of them roaming the plains from Mozambique to Malawi, Botswana to the Congo. Even on top of the Victoria Falls, you will find a zebra.
And this is one big zebra, 295 kilos in the athlete's hands. Technique, he bends down, grabs the bar, stands up straight as many times as he can. Simple as that.
Now, who's going to get the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, shining over Victoria Falls at the end of this event? The first guy to try it is Jörgen Lundberg of Sweden. As many times as possible in 75 seconds. And this is going to be perfect technique, I can tell you that for nothing. He's a former European powerlifting champion, and deadlift is one of the events and one of the disciplines in that sport. Very precise. And very strong. That is 5 lifts. And when you consider it's over 650 pounds, start totting that up. And it tells you these guys are very strong, and they've got some stamina in their arms, legs, chest as well. This is good. 8 repetitions already, my goodness. Well, Jörgen is certainly not the heaviest competitor. He's still 20 stone in body weight, though, around about 135 kilos. But deadlifting is not just about size, there is technique there. And I tell you what, his thighs are chafing already as the bar scrapes up over the last couple of inches of each lift. He's on 11 repetitions. This is fabulous stuff. Still plenty of time left. Now, can he get one more? Not wearing weightlifting boots, just sandals, really. And that, I think, is it. Little tweak of the back there, but 11 reps is excellent lifting for Lundberg of Sweden.
Is that good enough to win, do you think?
Raymond is very strong at this, so I think he's going to win it.
Well, 11 was much too good for Jarno Hans, 7 for the man from Holland. But for Phil Pfister, this really was a bridge too far. Just 3 repetitions for the American.
So a chance now for Carl Broomfield to add to his already considerable points total. He's equal third place at the moment with Phil Pfister on 8 points. 2 reps. Not using his legs all that much, just look how straight they are. Then he pushes his hips through, locks out, and those lifting straps, of course, helping with the grip, which, as you can imagine, is very difficult, but Carl is already finding this weight a little bit too much. Now, come on, Carl, keep the good rhythm going. Keep your head up. You mustn't look down. That rounds the shoulders and hollows the back, and that is not a strong position. And I do think that Carl Broomfield is not going well here. Now, come on, look up. Keep your back straight. Legs strong this time. The Stoke-on-Trent have certainly got a strong fella here, but how strong is he in the deadlift? That is a poor performance by Broomfield. Only 3 repetitions.
Where does it get you in the end?
In the legs. Legs just couldn't push anymore, just the energy had gone. I don't know if it's from the training pull yesterday, but I tried, but it was a bit heavy.
Next up, it was Jarek Dimmick, the Pole managing to equal Lundberg's 11 repetitions.
So, our last competitor, and with joint leaders, Lundberg and Dimmick on 11 repetitions. It remains to see whether Raymond-Bergmanis can achieve that and go even more. Well, this sort of movement for an Olympic weightlifter is the sort of movement he does in the gym, not hundreds, but thousands of times in the course of a training year. 3 times an Olympian. And one of the great weightlifters ever to have come out of the Baltic state of Latvia. So, here we go. He's up at 8 already. And Bergmanis has got away to a cracking start in this year's World's Strongest Man. And this will bring us to the halfway stage in Heat 3. And he's tied for the lead. Now, can he get one more? He's not quite sure of the score himself. And he does know he needs one more. And that means we've got maximum points for Latvia and Raymond Bergmanis. And he just does another one just to make sure. 13 repetitions, and he made it look very, very easy indeed. On with the slippers, back to sit in front of the fire with his pipe.
But I save my powers for next event, is back event again, and stones. I'm very sure it's that event is comfortable in deadlift, but in the stones without sticky, I never lifted before, never, and a little bit scary. But all guys is the same rules, and I fight.
An Olympic athlete and an Olympian performance from Bergmanis. He could still be deadlifting now if we hadn't stopped him. 6 points for him, and that meant he had a 1.5 point cushion at the halfway stage.
A disappointing result for Carl Broomfield, obviously, but what about Phil Pfister, the giant American dropping off the pace? He needs a win, and he needs it soon.
Well, the wall's gone, but we've got these African drums. The lightest stone on the highest drum, and the heaviest stones on the lowest drum. It's as simple as that.
Well, I don't think the competitors will think it's simple. Those stones weigh upwards of 100 kilos, all the way up to 160 for Carl Broomfield and Phil Pfister. And believe it or not, they're both equal on third place still. So this could be a crucial event. 2 more events to go after this. Broomfield, a little bit on the short side. Phil Pfister is about 5 inches taller, and he's absolutely flying the American. He's got to, though. He needs a good event here. That's stone number 3, 265 pounds. And let's not forget, only one man has managed to lift stone number 5, Magnús Samuelsson. Now, can Phil Pfister do it? He's got enormously long arms and manages to wrap them round, and he's done it. That was tremendous, 28.7, urging Carl Broomfield on. And Broomfield, well, I think, without doing him an injustice, he'll be lucky to do this 5th and final stone. He doesn't want to know. He's happy with what he's got, 4 stones in 33.82, but he's the king of the Atlas stones at the minute, Phil Pfister.
Let's cheer you up.
Yeah, it's nice to have one go right, but that could still be just 3rd place in my group, because Yorick and Raymond's are phenomenal athletes, but, you know, I hesitated a bit on that last one. Oh well, kind of playing it safe, you know. Hopefully not too safe. 2 more events to go, though.
These guys behind you like you?
Yeah, you know, I've been really charmed by the Zambian people. They're all very, very warm and genuine, and really happy to have all the guys here. So it's an honor to be here in Zambia!
Well, for a brief moment, Jürgen Lundberg not too happy to be in Zambia, just 1 stone for the Swede. And for the Dutchman, well, it was pretty tough too, 4 in 27.17.
Well, you heard what Raymond Bergmanis had to say. He wasn't looking forward to this event. No sticky stuff, only chalk on the arms to help them lift the stones. And that is the same for Dymek as well. But very, very interesting. 1.5 points between Bergmanis and Dymek. And Bergmanis just ahead, but only by a whisker. And look at that, Dymek just popping that one in the middle. It's, oh, he's gone past stone number 3, the pole. So Bergmanis has got a distinct advantage now. He's on to stone number 4. 309 pounds, and the Olympic weightlifter gets it up. Dymek just, now they're both having a bit of a breather before stone number 5. And actually, Raymond Bergmanis is watching his rival very, very closely, and he's got it. Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, my goodness, it's gone off the other side. It won't count. He'll have to go again. And Dymek is looking at Jamie Reeves and at Douglas Edmonds, and they've just said, I'm sorry, chum, you've got to go back. Raymond Bergmanis was faster, though, on stone number 4. So he is ahead of Dymek at the moment, and Dymek keeps trying. He doesn't want to know. He's exhausted. There is still about 15 seconds left, but it doesn't matter. And Bergmanis will finish in 2nd place, behind Phil Pfister. Dymek in 3rd.
So close.
This is sport. Almost not all the power is important. Must be good luck. This is
Mistake, bad luck. Not nothing. Happy. I know now. I know that I can lift all stones.
Well, Phil Pfister did lift all the stones. Victory for the American. Bergman is second, Dimmick third. This heat now could go all the way to the wire.
Just the result the big American wanted, and he's right back in the thick of things with just 2 events to go.
Being a strongman isn't about just lifting big heavy weights and stuff in your face. It's about taking the right nutrients and diet and understanding what foods to eat. We need lots of carbohydrates and protein to help rebuild the muscle after hard, vigorous training. Rice, pasta, chicken, tuna. We need larger portions than the average person to maintain our body mass and weight. 3 days before the event, I'll carb load up to put glucose into the muscles, ready for action.
We've tested leg strength, back strength and muscular endurance. Now it's upper body time. 4 logs ranging from 110, 125, 140 and 155. This is like taking the engine out of your car and lifting it over your head.
And not just once either. Our strongmen have got to do it 4 times to reach the maximum weight of 155 kilos. And here goes our first competitor, Phil Pfister. And he's so tall, I just wonder if that will be a disadvantage. That was okay though, 110 kilos. It's the nearest we'll get to weightlifting his strongest man, the clean and press. And that was 125, 264 pounds. Now on to number 3. And time is an issue here. If any of the strongmen tie in terms of the number of lifts they've done, the time will be a factor. And this is 308 pounds, 140 kilos. He's got to push with the legs. Doesn't lean back too far. He's got to get underneath it. Oh, my goodness. Has Pfister got it? Yes, he has. That was given by Jamie Reeves, who's judging this event. So can the big American go and get number 4? It really is a massive weight, 155 kilos, 341 pounds. Ah, and he says enough. That will be disappointing for the crowd. He's a bit of a favourite here. Oh, he's going to have a go. The crowd has made him do it. They're willing him to do it. Just squatting down, he'll try and roll it up his chest onto his shoulders, but he's run out of time, 75 seconds. I'm not sure he was totally committed to that one, but he got 3.
Did you know, though, that if you didn't get that 3rd one up, that was it, basically?
Well, certainly. And I knew I had no chance of the last one. It just, the 3rd one was plenty.
Well, here goes Dimmick. And this guy is built for weightlifting. Just a tad over 6 feet tall. His arms are shorter. He's got massive arms, hasn't he? My goodness. His bicep and tricep development is just unbelievable. A little bit unsteady there. Push with the legs, press it overhead, and that is number 2. Well, he's taking his time. The time limit of 75 seconds is some way away yet. Now, Phil Pfister, 3 in 43.05, and Dimmick has gone into the lead. That was given, although it was a bit unsteady. So Dimmick, can he get number 4? He's just checking to see how much time he's got left. Just under 30 seconds. The same position as we saw Phil Pfister in, but he's got it up to his chest. He looks a little bit uncomfortable there. Just over the 1 minute, and it's down. But Dimmick is in the lead. It's Poland, followed by the USA at the moment. That was a very good effort by Dimmick.
If you want an indication of how tough this is, look at this. Jarno Hams, just 2 in 12.28, and even tougher for Carl Broomfield, the man from Stoke lifting just 1 log.
Well, this is the closest to Olympic weightlifting we'll get in World's Strongest Man. And this is the Olympic weightlifter. He didn't even use his legs on that one. That was just a press out. And that is very, very quick indeed. Now then, Dimek's time for 3 was 34.9, and look at the clock. He's way, way ahead of that at the moment. And he's won it already. Now, will he go for number 4? Yes, he will. He's the oldest man in this year's competition, but he's way, way ahead in terms of experience on this sort of event. Now then, straight up above the knees, up to the chest. Will he push it with his legs and the arms this time? A little jerk. Almost landed on his head, but he's got it. The only man this year to have got all 4. And that is fantastic. Thank you very much. That is a big, big win for Raymond Bergmanis. And a very popular win as well.
I'm happy. It's not good memory about Zambia. 2 years ago, it was in tough group and not qualifying for final. But this time says a little bit stronger and qualify for final.
One of the nicest guys around and deservedly through to the final. That was a bad result for Pfister though. He trails Dimek by a further point, and this heat now down to 5. Lundberg pulling out with injury.
So Raymond Bergmanis safely through to the final. Phil Pfister will have to finish 4 places ahead of Jarek Dimek in the last event, or the pole will come second.
Tyre flip. I think you got the hang of this by now.
You see, I'm not altogether clear about this event. There's these huge tyres, and then what happens then?
Ready. So here we go with our very last event. Raymond Bergmanis on this side, and then, of course, the squad figure of Jarek Dimek. And Dimek has actually got into the lead. Phil Pfister really wants to win this one. He hasn't got a chance of making it through to the final, but he'd love to finish off with a flourish. But look at this, Dimek is just flipping over that 400-kilogram tyre as if it was a lightweight. Look at that, he's even got time to do a double biceps pose on the way, and he's won it. That was superb. I think Pfister might get second. So Dimek and Bergmanis are through to the final, and it's all fun and games at the end of the last event. Well done.
So there's confirmation of Dimek finishing with victory ahead of Pfister, and that was the result that effectively cooked the Americans goose, but you can be absolutely certain of one thing: he will be back.
Have we got 2 dark horses here for the title, do you think?
Bergmanis was a podium finisher last year. I think he's got a good chance to get on the podium again. I don't think he's going to be a winner. Dimek is the smallest guy in the final. I don't expect him to be a serious challenge at all.
A go-faster haircut, as you can see, for Bergmanis, and now there are 2 poles through to the final of the Metrex Trophy.
Welcome now to our special Christmas edition of Search for an Idol Big Brother Strongman. And Raymond, I gather you're going to do a song in Latvian for us. What is it?
Yeah, it's Jingle Bells in Latvian language.
That's the best version of it.
Yep.
Go on.
Zvaniņš skan, Ziemassvētki brauc, dāvanas būs tev un mana visi bērni sauc. Zvaniņš skan, Ziemassvētki brauc, dāvanas būs tev un mana visi bērni sauc.
So painful.
At 6:30 here on BBC One.
It would be inadvisable, I'd suggest, to describe any of this lot as an African queen. This is Zambia, the real Zambia, absolutely miles from anywhere. And after a morning of maths, social science and double English, sound familiar? It's now lunchtime in 40-odd degrees of heat. And you know, pay attention in class and train hard, and maybe you, one day, could win the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man.
We know 6 of the finalists already. Here's the lineup for the next heat. 2 of this lot are going to join them.
We're going to start this heat at the Royal Livingstone Hotel with the Farmer's Walk. These two giant anvils weigh 120 kilograms each and they have to be carried up and down a 70-metre course. Now, the man who's going to guide us through all the events this time around is the former world's strongest man himself, and that's Jamie Reeves. Tell us about this.
This is all about grip strength, we know, but it's about leg strength too. Every step, this anvil's going to be coming loose, so you've really got to grip, and it's a race against the clock.
Now, 120 kilograms is like carrying one of you in each hand.
Or a baby hippo.
What? No monkey? Well, here's Paul Dickinson and a friend.
The unmistakable figure of Glenn Ross, 3 times Britain's strongest man, 200 kilos body.
At 6:30 here on BBC One.
It would be inadvisable, I'd suggest, to describe any of this lot as an African queen. This is Zambia, the real Zambia, absolutely miles from anywhere. And after a morning of maths, social science and double English, sound familiar? It's now lunchtime in 40-odd degrees of heat. And you know, pay attention in class and train hard, and maybe you, one day, could win the Metrex trophy for the world's strongest man.
We know 6 of the finalists already. Here's the lineup for the next heat. 2 of this lot are going to join them.
We're going to start this heat at the Royal Livingstone Hotel with the Farmer's Walk. These two giant anvils weigh 120 kilograms each and they have to be carried up and down a 70-metre course. Now, the man who's going to guide us through all the events this time around is the former world's strongest man himself, and that's Jamie Reeves. Tell us about this.
This is all about grip strength, we know, but it's about leg strength too. Every step, this anvil's going to be coming loose, so you've really got to grip, and it's a race against the clock.
Now, 120 kilograms is like carrying one of you in each hand.
Or a baby hippo.
What? No monkey? Well, here's Paul Dickinson and a friend.
The unmistakable figure of Glenn Ross, 3 times Britain's strongest man, 200 kilos body weight. And John Valgeir Williams is pretty big too. His dad comes from Norfolk, but he's representing Iceland. And finally, Steve Kirrett of the United States, the USA's strongest man this year. I just wonder how much the temperature is going to affect Glenn Ross. Desperate to get in the final.
Ready.
And away we go. Glenn off to a bit of a slow start on the far side, and Steve Kirrett absolutely flying at the moment. John Valgeir Williams and Glenn Ross neck and neck at the moment, but it's the USA in the lead. And this is a very useful time as well. Just 1 foot needs to go over that line. No dropped anvils so far, 264 pounds. And Steve Kirrett is coming away. He's further and further ahead, and Glenn Ross has almost stopped at the opposite end of the course. And Kirrett is slowing. Glenn Ross has dropped his anvils, and Kirrett is going off course. Now then, a chance for Valgeir Williams to catch up. but the Icelander has gone down as well. So surely this will be a victory for the American. Just over the line, absolutely exhausted. John Vallier-Williams struggling a wee bit here. There is a time limit of 75 seconds. But I don't think either of these two guys will bother about that. John Vallier-Williams is finished in second place, 63.25, and poor old Glenn Ross is having a tough time. He's 200 kilos in body weight. That's a fraction over what he was last year, and he's run out of time. That's a disappointing start for Glenn Ross. Great support from the crowd, though.
So what expectations do you come here with?
I just want to do as well as I can in every event. We'll see what happens. I have no control over what anyone else does, so just do the best I can in every event, and I just try to be happy with that.
Well, here goes our first competitor in the next group, Vidas Blekaitis, the Baltic States strongman for 2003. And then Vasyl Virastyuk, second in Ukraine's strongest man competition this year. His brother is an Olympic shot putter. And the familiar figure of Hugo Girard of Canada, a former finalist in World's Strongest Man. So two first-timers and a very experienced competitor in Girard nearest the camera. And Girard is away. And so is Virastyuk. And look at Virastyuk, he's almost taking off. Girard's got a bit of work to do. And I'll tell you what, the Ukrainian is sprinting, literally, 1 foot over, and back he goes. This is tremendous by Virastyuk. Well, his brother is an Olympic and World Championship shot putter. And this is Virastyuk's claim to fame here in strongman competition. Hugo Girard is a little bit behind, but that is a winning time of 26.59. Girard in second place, and I think Blekaitis will get third. Yes, he does, quite easily, in fact. That was tremendous, but Virastyuk won it by a street.
How pleased are you with that performance in the first event?
Ну я ні на каплю не здивований, тому що, в принципі, я сподівався на такий результат.
A big man expecting big things of himself, but Glenn Ross, he desperately wants to make it through to the final, but that's not the way to go about it. Well, it started happening last year, but the strength in depth in Eastern Europe plain for all to see after that first event.
This next event is the squat. It starts off at 245 and finishes at 345 kilograms. For all you pint drinkers, that's 53 stones.
Well, whether you're used to the metric system or pounds, it's certainly a lot of weight. And here's the heaviest man in this year's World's Strongest Man, Glenn Ross, who desperately needs big points now. Well, he's renowned as a big squatter, that's for sure. So, what can Glenn do in his second event in the heat of this year's World's Strongest Man? Very deep and very strong on the way up. So the first barrel comes on with a bit of a clunk, and the second barrel there, that makes the weight 573 pounds, and this is looking good for Glenn Ross. In the event that any of the other strongmen complete the 7 lifts all together with the 6 barrels, it's all down to the stopwatch, and Glenn's looking pretty useful here, I tell you. This is a good performance, but he was last in the Farmer's Walk. He's hardly blowing at all, and that is tremendous by Glenn Ross. The clock will be stopped. He wasn't sure whether he finished or not. Who's the daddy now? Well, for the time being, Glenn Ross is.
Back with a bang.
Oh, definitely. If it comes to static strength, I am the daddy of the world. And I challenge anybody in a squat, deadlift, now, pressing. I want to prove a point to everybody. Static Ram is the world's strongest man.
Glenn Ross setting the mark for everybody else to follow. 4 for Williams. Next up, it was Kirit, and he could only manage 5 in 25.31. And following him, it was the turn of Blekaitis, and the man from Eastern Europe, 7, but in 37.68.
So here goes Hugo Girard. And the Canadian, well, he's being flagged up as a potential champion this year, but there's still a long way to go. That was good. The first barrel goes in, 260 kilos, made it look very easy. And that is way over 500 pounds. That was over 600 pounds. Well, Hugo Girard, he's got one of the biggest chests of any of the strong men. But he's looking very tight this year. I think he's lost a bit of body fat, and that will have made him all the more fit to cope with the demands of all of these strength contests. One last barrel. Now then, can he challenge the time of Glenn Ross? I don't think he can. That's 35.71. So Ross is still 2 seconds in the lead. Girard, though, in second place for the time being.
Seems like all the good squatters are all in the same heat, so I knew Glenn on that would be almost unbeatable. I wasn't feeling right at first. Switched my foot a bit, but hopefully I did 7 reps, so that's what I needed to score a good point.
Well, I think he will get good points as we look at our last competitor, Virastyuk. He's being very precise about where he puts his feet for this squatting event.
Squat.
And here we go. Now, you would expect a shot putter to do well at this, and not just his brother who's a world-class shot putter. This guy has put the shot over 20 meters, and only one British athlete has done that so far this year, and that is Carl Myerscough. So Virastyuk will have done this event many, many times in the gym, but never with a weight that increases after each squat. That is what makes this difficult. That is number 6. He needs number 7. So here we go, those knees tightly wrapped just to protect the joint. If he fails this, Glenn Ross has definitely won it. And Virastyuk staggers out from beneath the apparatus there. But Great Britain have won one. Great effort by Glenn Ross.
Extraordinary feats of strength by so many of those athletes, but 2 seconds, the margin of Glenn Ross's victory, and it means that this group really is wide open.
Glenn Ross at his best there, but he and the rest must know that with Hugo Girard in that sort of form, they're all just playing for second place.
When in Zambia, you must meet the real African chief. But don't forget to bring some gifts.
Here we are more or less like here. So
it's a great village. Never had so many friends.
In a country of just 10 million people, there are 72 different dialects, but nowhere in the world can there be so many Zs. That's Zimbabwe, this is Zambia, that's the Zambezi, Zakomo means thank you, and Zingati, Lema Tren, means how much does that train weigh?
It weighs 1544 kilograms, that's 15.5 tons. This is a big one, and it's going to want some pulling.
The Victoria Falls Bridge filling up with spectators for this train pull. And I don't know about the weight of it, but this is one of the heaviest things around here, Glenn Ross. And after that victory in the last event, if he can get another one here, he really will be back in with a shout of qualifying for the final at the halfway stage. Now here we go. Glenn Ross wearing gloves. Those rails are very, very hot indeed, so he won't want to damage his hands. He's got to stay low and pull consistently. It's a little bit jerky. And that train, 15.5 tons, I reckon that's about 5 giraffes worth. And there are plenty of those around here, especially in the game reserve just up the road. But Glenn Ross is struggling. He's put on a tiny bit of weight since last year, not really enough to affect his mobility, and he is just relying on his body weight at the moment, and actually, this is unbelievable. He's just come to a grinding halt. Now, come on, Glenn. He really has to drive the legs, stay low, but those hips are too high. We've seen 1 or 2 competitors in the past, they've almost been horizontal. And Glenn is just inching it forward, only 5 seconds to go before the whistle goes. Now come on, Glenn, just a couple of meters more, but the whistle has gone. And the tape measure will come out. It's around about 14 meters, and that is desperately disappointing from a former British champion.
Absolutely unbelievable in this heat, like. It's 48 I hear up here at the minute. That's just pure madness, especially for a 400-pound man, you know. As soon as I heard that they took a rope away on the ladder, it was just going to be ladder and rails. I remember from my head, it just doesn't suit me that way. I'm more of a harness and rope guy, and because basically you can't practice that way, you know what I mean? And with my heavy body weight, going like a monkey, it doesn't suit me.
That was really hard work for Glenn Ross. Too hard, you might say. Hard too for Williams, 59.78 for the Icelander. Steve Kirret, he was happier, 44.18 was his time, and he was then followed by the man from Lithuania, Blakaitis, coming home 27.43.
Well, that was an excellent time by Blakaitis to go into the lead. 27.43 for Virastyuk to try and beat.
Are you ready?
So here we go. He said yes, and he meant it. My goodness. Already driving, keeping the hips low, pulling with the arms. And this guy, a former shot putter, of course, you'd expect him to have big, strong arms, but look at the pace he's setting now. He really is pumping those legs and picking up pace all the time. There's about 5 meters to go, and this is going to be exceptional. And Virastyuk stops the clock at 25.44. That is a good lead, and there's only Hugo Girard left to challenge it. Another good performance for the Ukraine.
25 seconds is an unbelievable time. Did he know he was going that fast?
Так само, як і на флоу, я, в принципі, сподівався на такий результат, тому що вдома ми теж тренувалися з такими вагонами, але у нас було 2-3 вагони вагою по 60-70 тонн, так що, в принципі, на хороший результат я завжди сподівався.
You can't imagine anybody practicing at King's Cross, can you? But Hugo Girard, the Canadian, is the last athlete to try and challenge that magnificent time of Virastyuk, 25.44. And Hugo Girard, well, he's done this event a few times. Oh, he nearly fell off there. Look at the size of this guy's shoulders. He's got a massive 60-inch chest. Tremendously powerful legs as well, and it is pretty good. We've got Virastyuk at just over 25 seconds. Then Blakaitis, 27.43. And poor old Glenn Ross is languishing down in last place at the moment. But Hugo Girard is over 30 seconds. That is not good news for the Canadian. It's way over 30 seconds, 34.68. So the Canadian will finish in third place in the train pull.
So Eastern Europe taking the first 2 places there ahead of Girard, but Glenn Ross was the only man not to complete the course, and he's in trouble now. There's just 2 points separating the top 3.
Well, Glenn Ross has harboured ambitions of getting to the final for so long, but after that train pull, it looks like the big 3 are getting away.
In Scotland, if you lifted a stone, you was allowed to wear an eagle's feather in your cap. Let's see how many of our strongmen will be wearing 5.
The 5 stones lifted in order onto the highest drum, and then the heaviest stone onto the lowest one. It's going to be a very big test indeed for Glenn Ross and for Blakaitis next to him. Now, Glenn Ross has done the 5th stone in the past, so if he can do it this time, well, again, he'll get big points. So here we go. Douglas Edmonds sends them on their way, and Blakaitis just popping it up there, but he's got a bit of difficulty, and it's going away into the crowd. My goodness, Glenn Ross has got the 2nd stone up, and Blakaitis, I think he may have hit his head with a stone on that occasion. Well, a bit of drama on the far side, but let's keep looking at Glenn Ross. He's on to stone number 4, rolling it around. That's 140 kilos, 309 pounds. Meanwhile, Blakaitis has gone back to try and get that 1st stone up. And Glenn Ross is on the final stone, and Blakaitis has dropped it off again. So no luck for the man on the far side. Well, this is remarkable. Ross has lifted this 5th and final stone, but in the past, they've had the benefit of sticky stuff on the arms. That's not allowed this time, so what on earth went wrong?
None of us have really practiced without a little bit of resin. With resin, I put that up 3 or 4 times, but it just wasn't happening today.
But log lift, you'll fancy your chances, won't you?
I'll win that.
Never say die from Ross. He'd have been encouraged by Kirret managing 4 in 31.4. That was slower than him. But then Williams, the Icelander, 4 in 24.12 seconds.
Well, Hugo Girard is very experienced at these Atlas stones. I'm not sure about Virastyuk, but the overall leader going so well. Here's the one on the far side, and away we go. Girard almost pushed it up with his chin there. That was incredible, and Girard is flying at the moment. The lead is held at the moment by John Valgeir Williams of Iceland, 24.12. And I think Girard is ahead at the moment. Virastyuk is just a shade behind, and already Girard has gone into the lead. So here goes Girard with that stone, and this is number 4 for Virastyuk. 25.5 there for the Ukrainian, and Girard is so close to getting number 5 up. Oh, that is desperate. And Girard has had enough. I think he realises that he's won. 17.78 seconds, and Virastyuk at the moment is lying in 3rd place. Oh, he's getting very cross with himself, and that is it for both men. A little bit of drama at the end, and Girard has won.
I knew a fast 4 would be very good. So on the 5th one, went out there, give it a shot, and just not quite enough, but I don't want to risk anything, you know. What is going to be important to make all 5 going to be in the final. So right now I think the tactic works.
Well, 5 of them got 4 stones up, which meant it all came down to speed of mind and movement. Girard the quickest of all, and he leads with 2 events still to go.
The guys not using glue had a major bearing on the outcome there, and Canada and the Ukraine are in the box seat with just 2 events to go.
There's a team of 3 of us come from England, and then we have about half a dozen helpers from the country that we're visiting. We tend to be the first ones to arrive on location because we have to set up all the equipment, and we're very often the last ones away. We try and theme some of the equipment to reflect the local culture and surroundings. This year, being in Africa, I've chosen some of the colours and designs from the local African art. Most of the work involves getting all the equipment back into good order because it takes quite a bashing with the way the athletes handle it. So everything has to be cleaned and repainted and remarked so that it all looks nice to be on the television.
Log lift! Each one of these logs has got to be lifted overhead to arm's length. It's all about upper body and shoulder power. Now, Glenn Ross seems to think he's got the strongest upper body here, but I'm sure Hugo Girard will have something to say about that.
A real test for Glenn Ross. And you heard what he had to say at the end of the last event. He was going to win this event, but can he? His arms didn't look terribly straight there, but the referee says yes, okay. So it's on to number 2, 125 kilos, and that looks better. And this is as much a test of stamina as anything else. Victoria Falls in the background, looking absolutely magnificent. And that is a good push from Glenn Ross. He never uses his legs. Such is the strength of his arms and shoulders. Now this is number 4, 155 kilos. The equivalent of 2 12-stone people. Now can he put his money where his mouth is? You get the feeling with the likes of Hugo Girard around, he's going to have to. Rolls it up his chest, his considerable chest, and pushes. Oh, he's inches away. It looks as though it's okay, but the referee hasn't signalled yet. And the referee has actually said no. And Glenn Ross is looking bemused, saying, what, me? Surely that was a good lift. Well, I can't hear what Glenn is actually saying, but he's saying no more. He's run out of time anyway. And I think there might be an inquest into that. Glenn Ross is saying, I did lock out. It was successful.
What do you think? Did you get it up?
Did they get it up? What do you think? The camera will tell you everything. I mean, my arms are fully locked out. I even straightened my feet for him and I looked at him. And then he went down. And what's that all about?
Well, big controversy for Glenn Ross. Less so for Williams. He only managed 2 in 1874. Blakaitis, the man from Lithuania, 3 in 27.87. And he was then followed by Steve Kirret from America, 3 in 24.56.
So here we go with Virastyuk, and it's Steve Kirret of the USA who's just edged ahead of Glenn Ross. 24.56 for 3 lifts, And Virastyuk is absolutely steaming at the moment. Look at this. Down, says Douglas Edmonds. And Dougie Edmonds, one of the most fair referees, I have to say, in strongman, along with Jamie Reeves. And this is good lifting by Virastyuk, maintaining his place. Just 1 point behind Hugo Girard at the top of the table. Now, come on, he wants a bit of support. So the Ukrainian, great competitor, good athlete, but can he get number 4? He's certainly in the lead at the moment. Oh, my goodness. Up halfway, then down again. And just look how much these guys are bending their backs. That's close. Very close, but I don't think he's going to be given it. Yes, he has. Oh, I thought he was a bit unsteady, but Virastyuk's gone into the lead. 49.72.
Vasyl, many congratulations. It was almost too easy for you.
Ну, в принципе, да. Для меня 155 нема проблем, в принципе, для логлифта.
So, no problem, he says. Well, we'll have to wait and see how Hugo Girard gets on. Oh, that was good, 100 kilos. The next one, 125. Just as easy. And the crowd really rising to Hugo Girard, Canada's strongest man for many, many years. Massive upper body development. Can he do 155? 341 pounds. And he can. That was so easy. He's won an event ahead of Virastyuk, and that means Glenn Ross finishes down in 4th place. But Girard took that very easily indeed.
The target all along was to get to the final. Now you've got it. What's the target?
Of course, it's to win the title. You're not coming here thinking about looking at 2nd place. You're looking at 1st place. It won't be easy in the final. It never is. So we saw what happened.
Do you guys think he can win the World Strongest?
Yeah! With that kind of sport, everything is possible.
One of the great things about this year's competition, the way the Zambian people have completely embraced these giant men in their midst for a couple of weeks, and there's confirmation that this heat is now over.
So a controversial end to Glenn Ross's challenge as the giants from Canada and the Ukraine power their way into the final.
Six men, 6 tyres, flip them 20 metres to the finish.
The climax to Heat 4, and of course Hugo Girard and Virastyuk, nearest the camera, have already made it through to the final. There is Girard, absolutely magnificent. Virastyuk just creeping into the lead, and on the far side, almost unnoticed, John Valgier-Williams, the tallest man in this heat. He's going into the lead, and Steve Kirrett of the USA next to him going well. That is Williams. And now, can he finish off with a little bit of glory here? Yes, he can. That's victory for Iceland. Kirrett for the USA in 2nd place, and then in 3rd place, Hugo Girard. And Virastyuk just following him closely, just. And poor old Glenn Ross is struggling, but we know who won there. A good victory for Valgier-Williams.
How much does it mean to you to be in the final?
Ну, це на даний момент, напевно, для мене це майже все. Я не кажу загально, що це є все, але та мрія, до якої я йшов, на даний момент збувається. Так що я думаю, що все буде добре.
Did you watch the program on television for many years, and now you are part of the final?
No.
So we're not big in the Ukraine yet. There's confirmation of a consolation victory for the maverick Icelander Williams ahead of Kirrett and Girard, and there's confirmation of what you knew already.
So which of these 2 qualifiers do you think has got the best chance of actually coming out on top?
I think Hugo's never going to have a better chance than what he's got this time. He's been trying for 6 years, and the events really suit him, and he looks in good shape. He looks like he's lost a few kilos in body weight, so he looks good. As for Vasyl, he's a new guy, I don't know much about him, but he looked pretty impressive there.
4 heats down, 1 to go. These are the 8 men through so far to the final of the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man.
Time now for our special Christmas edition of Who Wants Fame as an Idol Strongman. And Hugo, what are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing Petit Papa Noël.
Magnifique.
Petit Papa Noël, quand tu descendras du ciel avec des jouets par milliers, n'oublie pas mes petits souliers.
Oh!